Hello and welcome to the latest video tutorial from LiveHouse Automation. Okay, so today we're going to be setting up a LiveHouse IP camera. We'll show you how to get it onto the network, configure a few basic bits and pieces, and how to integrate it to your Vera Home Controller. So we've already installed the IPC search tool, which comes on the CD with the camera. Just hit the search button here, and what that's going to do is pick up a whole bunch of cameras. It'll pick up any on-VIF camera, so it's got some FOSS cams here, there's a Hikvision camera on the network, but this is the one that we're interested in. Come up with the default name of IPC, and you can see here that it's got a different version of firmware to some of the similar cameras. So the first thing that we want to do is give it an IP address and put it on our local network. Two ways you can do this, and the best way of course is to assign it a static IP address, and we'll give it one of those as part of this setup, or you can click on DHCP, which means that your camera will get an IP address from your network router. Now the reason that you probably don't want to have this set as a permanent solution is that it's possible your camera might change to a different IP address and then Vera won't be able to find it anymore. Okay, so what we'll do now is just give it an IP address that's valid on our network. I'm going to go with 0.48. Change the gateways and DNS, and we just use the default password because it's just come out of the box, and we hit the modify button. Okay, so the camera will now take that change and restart, and then what we should do is see these details update when we do a refresh. And there's our camera on its new IP address specified. What we'll do while we're here is we'll throw a firmware upgrade on it as well. Hit the button, and away it goes. So as you can see, this tool makes it quite easy to set up a large number of cameras and upgrade them all at the same time. So the camera is now restarting. That'll take a minute or two. Okay, our camera has restarted. We just hit the search here. As you can see, it's now come up on the newest current version of the firmware, and it has a valid IP address. Now on the CD there's some instructions on how to configure Internet Explorer so that the admin plugin will run. There's some security settings that you need to change. I'm not going to run through that now, we've already set that up, so what we'll do now is we'll just double click on this, which will take us over to the login page for the camera. Okay, and we've still got the default username and password, admin. Just log in. And we should be presented with the lovely live view of the camera pointing at its box on the desk. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll jump into the configuration and we'll set up a few bits and pieces. Now, as far as getting this up and running quickly and easily, there's only a few things that you really need to update. The first one will be in system, and we want to do the time settings. What we want to do is tell it where we are, which is Perth. That will automatically grab the time from Microsoft's time server. So we can just save that. What we'll want to also change is just the device name, so that when we're looking at the video feed, it's got its name in the top left-hand corner. So we'll just change this one to front yard because that's where it's going to live. Save that. Now, on the 4 megapixel cameras anyway, you might want to just bump it up to the maximum resolution. The 2 megapixel cameras, you won't need to do that. Let's hit save. Now here, you've got a whole lot of settings for image adjustment, etc. This is really going to depend on where you put the camera. There's a few handy ones there, particularly around your flicker control. This is going to be an outdoor camera, so we want to change that. And the on-screen display, top left. So at the moment you can see here, just it's got the date and time. We'll add the text. Just the front yard cam. Save that. You can see we've now got the name here. Now there's a bunch of bits and pieces here around enabling motion detection, etc. That's not really applicable for Vera, but if you're setting this up on an NVR and you want motion recording, that's where you do it. Now of course the other thing you're going to do is change the default username and password, which you'll find here under the user security setting. Just want to edit that, and we will change that to something a bit harder to guess. Okay, that's done. And that's pretty much all we need to do in terms of getting the camera up and running and ready to be connected up to Vera, which is what we'll do next. Alright, so here we are on our Vera, and we'll set up this new camera. Now the first thing that we want to do is just check that the camera is correctly responding with an image over the network that Vera can pick up. So what we'll do is, we know the IP address of our new camera, and we know that the URL is snap.jpg, and what that should do now is return us current picture. Perfect. So now what we do is we go over to cameras. I've already got some configured on this particular Vera. We'll add a camera. Now as you can see here, there's a list of cameras that Vera directly supports. Most of them are Vera's Vista cams themselves. Pretty much every camera that you're going to set up, except for those, will be done as other IP camera. So we'll just click that. The wizard that's here is now largely irrelevant, so we just click through it, and then we'll just manually install the camera. Okay, so what Vera's done here, it's had a bit of a scan of the network, and it's picked up some things that it suspects might be cameras. Now, it's not, so we just click that. Camera type. Choose other IP camera. Right, so the URL is what we just tested. So 268.0.48/snap.jpg. Now, for these cameras, the username and the password aren't actually required in order to get that image, but I will put the password in anyway, and then we hit test. Bingo. So what we'll do is we'll give this a name, put it in the room called cameras, hit next. Okay, Vera's reloaded, it's brought up the list of cameras, and as we can see down here, our new soon to be mounted out the front yard camera. Now, When you go in here and you see that it's saying in emulation mode, so what that means is it's not using real-time streaming protocol. Vera doesn't really support much in the way of real-time streaming protocol cameras except for its own, but that's fine. All we do is we just say hide the message for this camera, and as you can see we've got a perfectly good image there of our camera.